Good morning, y'all. It is Saturday morning. I've got a couple hours that I can get some things done this morning, and so I'm going to take advantage of the relatively cool temperature that we've got going on. It is 83 degrees. The heat index is putting me at about 94. So it's not really cool, but it's definitely not sweltering like it usually is this time of year. So I'm going to take this time to go ahead and harvest some things. I got a new food dehydrator and I am anxious to get started with using it. I'll do an unboxing of it also and show you guys what it is. Just a cheap one that I got on Amazon. I've never used a dehydrator before. Usually I dehydrate all of my herbs in the oven. And I thought, well, my goal is to increase my food production here at the house. So why not start with some dehydrating and things like that and see how that goes? Because I typically only preserve my harvest in the freezer. It works just fine for me. I just freeze everything and we use it as we need it. But because I'm trying to grow a lot more than what I'm typically growing every year, I want to have enough to have for several months. And so I needed to be able to preserve it a little bit better than just sticking it in the freezer and using it within a couple of months. So what I'm going to do is try to go around and harvest any of the herbs that are ready. And I do need to get that celery out of there. So I'm going to go ahead and get that out. It's too bitter to eat fresh, but I can use it in cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and dehydrate some of that and get it stored away as well. So let me go ahead and get started with harvesting. I'll let you guys see what I get. This basil smells so good. All right, let's go find the other basil. Some Thai basil. I'm gonna harvest all of these and dry them, and I blend them all together in one nice basil blend. I find that it gives me a much deeper basil flavor with cooking than just using one type of basil. So I started doing that a few years ago, basically out of laziness because I was growing so many different basils. And I was saying to myself, oh my gosh, why am I spending so much time separating all these basils and drying them and putting them in different containers? I'm just going to mix them all together. It actually worked out pretty good. It's a spicy globe basil's got some dead branches on it. Really don't have much of this one to take, so just get a little bit of that. This one is a cinnamon basil, and this one is the Osmond basil. I don't know if you can see that from there, but I'm going to pull these weeds out while I'm here. Let's take the cinnamon basil down a bit. That smells so good. This one has decided to flower, which tells me I've waited a little bit too long to harvest, but that's okay. This one is the lemon basil, so I'm going to just do a big bundle and just chop it way back. Not really paying attention to where the new growth nodes are. This one is about to flower as well. It's also, no, this one is not a lemon. This one is a dwarf Greek basil. I'm going to do the same thing here. Just take a bundle and chop it off. It looks harsh, but the plants will regrow. I'll get a little bit of the sauce, but be a little bit more precise with the cuttings on this one because the plant is a little bit younger. Does not have a whole lot of stems. But this trimming should promote some new stem branching. Now, unlike the basil, I do not spend any time trying to find nodes on parsley. I just come in and cut big chunks off. Usually I am feeding it to the guinea pigs, but this harvest will be for us. They'll probably get a little bit. Munching onions are coming along, but I'm going to leave those, let them get a little bit bigger before I start to harvest from them. Spider crawling on me. Yeah. Alright, y'all, so here I am here next to the celery, and I just broke the bracket that holds my camera onto the tripod. So I've got to try to hold this with one hand now, and I'll just get the celery off of here the best that I can. I'm going to go ahead and pull out this dill that has completely dried, and I'll be using that pot for something else. This spot seems to be really good for dill and for celery. So I will probably use this container for celery. This past season is the very first time in all of my years of gardening that I've been able to grow celery. I've never been able to get it to germinate, and all I did basically is just threw it out here in these pots and left it. Celery takes a really long time to germinate. Some celeries will take like 30 days to germinate. And so when you got something that takes that long to germinate and you've got to keep it consistently moist in order for it to germinate and not kill the seeds, it's just been one of the driving forces for why I've not been able to grow celery. But because this worked, and this is two different celeries here, because this worked, I want to make sure that I continue growing celery. I don't know if I'm going to be able to break these off with one hand. I'm going to have to snip them because I don't want to damage them all. We'll just cut them. They do twist off pretty easily, but not when you're trying to balance a camera in your hand. I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to take this one. And I'll take this one. Probably be just a video all over the place now that I've got to hold this camera. Sorry if it's making you guys dizzy. I'm going to get these red celeries from here as well. They're nice and crispy. Celery is a cool season crop. And so with this wonderful heat that we have going on, the celery is extremely bitter. And these do have a couple bugs on them, so I'm going to have to soak them very good to clean them. But I don't want to waste my harvest. I do grow a lot of things for fun. Things that I don't even really eat. But I'm trying to get away from that and really focus on growing things that my family is going to actually use. Can't see what I'm doing. I'm trying to look through the camera and at my plant. My hair is getting in the way of the camera. It's just so much going on right now, y'all. I don't really want to take these little skinnies. This is actually 2 plants. If you look down here, you can see it's 2. This is 1 plant, and then this bigger one is another plant. Can you see that? That's 2 separate plants. And it looks like a 3rd one germinated here. So like I said, I just threw these out here and I hoped for the best. And it seems that I got the best. Alright, so there's my celery. Quite a few stalks there. I'm going to see how these carrots are. I'm going to pull a couple of them out. Maybe I can go ahead and get these harvested as well. I've been delaying it because I wanted them to get a little bit bigger. But it is not carrot season here. Yeah, they're tiny. But I'm going to go ahead and pull them. It's so hot. They aren't going to do a whole lot more. And I never thin them. I'm going to just pull them out. Uh-oh, I broke the top off of that one. I want to start getting this bed ready. So, these guys have done all they're going to do for me right now. The color is gorgeous. I'm not expecting these guys to be very sweet. It's lots of shade over here to keep them cool, but it's hot. Let's call them baby carrots. I'm going to try balancing this on the drink holder. This plant keeps falling over onto my gladiolas, and I think it has officially damaged them to a point that they are not going to bloom. Alright, let's see if I can get a couple good leaves off of this collard. This is the time of year that collards are not happy. They will continue to grow through our heat. I don't usually have collards to bolt, or at least I've not found a variety that bolts, but because it's so hot, they get attacked by all kinds of creatures. The leaves dehydrate, and then they just don't look very good, like that one. They just get damaged. Nobody wants to eat that. But there are some good ones on here that can be salvaged. I'll wash them good, cook them up. I need to get some kind of steak for that. These tomatoes over here are starting to blush some color. I'm going to take my chances and leave them on there for another day or so. Alright, got 2 more of these over here to do. Let's see what we can get. These aren't as bad as the other one. Some of these have some damage, but you can clean that and cut around the damaged parts of the leaf. Some of them are just too far gone, and I don't want to bother with them. My neighbor's dog can see me out here. He doesn't like me. For whatever reason, we cannot get this dog to stop barking at me. He sees me every day. He comes over, he gets treats. He just does not like me. Right. That's it for that one. It's a pretty slim plant now, so when I put the cover back on, it won't be so tight. Alright, let's work on this one. Those are trash. Trash, 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 trash. Now, from what's left, let's pick what we can. Oh, look at the mushrooms down there. Aren't those cute? Leaf is determined to fall out of my hand. All right, I think I'll leave the rest of those, let them color up. Get a little handful. Okay, I've got one more thing that I want to harvest. I'm pretty sure I can. Oh gosh, I've got oregano. And more parsley that I can get, and I just thought about where it is. But I can get some of these chives out of this jungle here. There's a ton of chives planted here. And I need to get some of these out. So let me go and grab some kind of spade or something that I can dig some of these out. All right, let me see how I can get some of these chives. Hey, y'all, look at my hydrangea. Look at my hydrangea. That's not supposed to grow here. Alright, how can I get these chives? How can I get these chives so that y'all can see me get the chives? That's probably the better question. You know what? Maybe I should just reach down and snatch some out. Let me see if that'll work. Hopefully it's not a snake down here. And hope I can't pull them. Well, I guess that worked. Yeah, that'll work. I don't know if I'm killing the plant. Probably not, though, because onions are typically pretty resilient. Now, I just took out all these roots. So I can pot this part up for my bestie who's been wanting some chives. I didn't mean to snatch the roots out. I just wanted to snap them off. Sort of like that. And seriously, y'all, if I just ruin the plant, it's not the end of the world. I have far more chives than I need. As you can see, I barely harvest these things. I barely ever harvest them. I actually planted them here to protect the grapevine from the rats. So far, I think it works. However, the onions do not deter the rats from anything else. All right, I've got to go back over to the other side and get some oregano. All right, let's try a little balancing act here. Get some of this oregano. that is reaching the ground now. And I'm just going to do a harsh haircut. Oregano can be kind of invasive, so if you're in an area where oregano roots easily on your ground, nice moist area like Southwest Florida, probably want to be harvesting your oregano. If you're not going to use it for cooking, just come out and do a little trim on it every now and then and compost it. But you don't really want to let it start trailing all over the ground because it will root and take over. Now, obviously, I've not done a good job of following my own advice, but that is because over here, the bunnies hang out and they help me to keep this under control by eating it. I've got another oregano that's been growing underneath my bench on the east side of the house. And that one has probably become a weed because I really don't pay any attention to it over there. But I do have the bunnies on that side. What's going on with my snips? They are not cutting through this. Time to sharpen. Alright, I've got some parsley here and some more chives. I think this one is regular chives. I don't think this one is garlic chives. I think the other one that I snatched out by the root is actually garlic chives. This one, I think it's just a standard chive. I'm going to give it a haircut from the top. I'm not going to pull it out from the base. I gotta put the camera down in order to do that though. So let me just clean out some of this so I don't have so much to fool around with when I get in the house. Let me put the camera down and I'll give it a chop and I'll show it to you in a minute. Haircut is done. That's what I cut off. And I'm going to do the same thing for this parsley. Put the camera down and I will do the chop. Chop is done. That's what I cut off. So there's a lot of yellow leaves in here. I'll go in and I'll pull those out before I dry these and prep them. All right, y'all, so I am done with harvest. I am going to get everything inside and wash it and set it out so that it can dry. And then I will begin the process of preserving these things through dehydration and freezing. So let me just show you what I got. It's not a harvest for the record books, but I'm proud of it. So we've got a small basket of oregano. We've got a small basket of chives. There's quite a few chives in there. I've got a nice handful of collards. They don't look the best because they are kind of out of season, but throw them in a pot with everything else and get that nice meat simmering in there. They're going to be just fine. I've got a nice big basket of parsley, a nice big basket of basils, and I believe this was 4 different basils, maybe 5, I can't remember. I also got the baby carrots. These guys, I really didn't want to take them, but I needed to get that space back so that I can start prepping that bed. I need to get that compost starting to break down for the crop that's going to go in there in the fall. And these guys were just going to take too much of that time. So I went ahead and took them. So they are baby carrots, but hey, we eat baby carrots, and the carrot greens are actually edible as well. So we will use those. And I also got a nice little bunch of celery. So like I said, not one for the record books, but it's still a good harvest. We're going to get these things preserved, and we'll be using them for the next few months. Maybe about 6 months I'll be able to use some of these things, because they're not things that I'm going to be using excessively. I'm using my herbs to season my food, and I don't use a whole lot of celery. Typically only use celery when I am making chicken salad, tuna salad, and soups. And because this is going to be pretty bitter, being grown in the heat, it will only be used for cooking. So I'm not going to use that very much. These things will all last us for quite a bit. I am drenched in sweat now. I am going to go ahead and get inside in the AC. I thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you soon. Bye.